Hey, y'all, what's going on? We got an exciting one today, guys. I just got my hands on, you see it right here, the brand new Parfums de Marly Castley. I don't know, man. It's one of those, I think it's Castley. We're gonna roll with that. I think that's the easiest one off the tongue. Doesn't really matter. It's the newest men's fragrance from Parfums de Marly hitting the markets just within the last few weeks, right? Today, I got a little sample that we're gonna do, a little carded sample that I got that I'll be able to give you kind of first impression, get an idea what this thing's all about. We'll read off some of the notes there and have an idea of what it's trying to portray via those. And I'll kind of give you my thoughts on whether this thing's any good or not. Like, is this thing going to be the new king of the Parfums de Marly Freshies? The summer, spring, warm weather fragrances? I'm super excited to be seeing this one today, man. Fresh off the market, dude. I've been waiting for this. So let's go ahead and cue that intro music and get right into it, baby. All right, so I actually decided I'm gonna do this a little different than I normally would, just because this is pretty much a blind test, right? Like, I'm gonna go ahead and read the notes off to y'all so we can already kind of get a little idea of what to expect off of this strip once I spray on there. But yeah, we'll just kind of go through it that way. All right, so we'll just kind of read this little thing out loud here. I don't know how it looks like it comes through fine just here. So as you look here, it kind of gives you an idea, right? If you want to read through this, of what the inspiration for this fragrance is. And then down at the bottom paragraph is the actual note breakdown, right? So, a radiant, vibrant fragrance opening with citrusy notes of bergamot and fresh ginger oils, enhanced by rich, spicy timut pepper, refined akigala wood, and noble ambery notes of labdanum, conveying confidence and audacity. And as you can see, it has that kind of trademark, classic Parfums de Marly bottle. So all of their Freshies, with the exception of like Pegasus and Percival, I guess. So if you're looking at Greenly or Sedley, you get those kind of translucent see-through bottles. This one has a really beautiful kind of grayish blue color that you can see right through. And I think that's a really good choice for what this smells like once we kind of explain that. So that's what we're looking at. All right, y'all, now it's time for the fun part. Let's go ahead and do our discovery spray. I got this in this nice little 1.5 milliliter. That's kind of their go-to for their sample sizes. So that comes directly from Parfums de Marly. So go ahead and get this on the strip and see what this thing's all about. As you can see, I actually have worn this once already. I really couldn't help myself. Once it came in the mail, I pretty much had to jump right in. So I have an idea what this smells like, but I'm still gonna just give you right off the strip here. Let's get it. Ooh, all right, so the opening is super citrusy, super zingy. Got that like kind of zestiness in there from, you got bergamot and ginger are the two things right off the bat that you really smell. And it actually has kind of a soapiness to it, very clean scent coming off as well. Now, I have already heard people kind of talking about this who have tried this before me, and they feel like they're getting a little bit of an imagination, Louis Vuitton imagination in the open. And I think that's a fair assessment. It doesn't smell exactly like it, but the opening is really reminiscent of that clean, soapy, citrus kind of freshness. But it is spicier, even in the opening. So the ginger is a lot more apparent on this. I think even a little bit of the peppers kind of. You don't get a ton of that right in the beginning, but it is certainly a spicier kind of take. That gives us that kind of just overarching, right? This definitely is a spicy, fresh fragrance. Okay, and as it's starting to dry down, the citrus kind of fades a little bit, and it really becomes more of a fresh spicy with the ginger and the pepper. So the pepper starts becoming pretty apparent to me by like the mid of the dry down. So it doesn't take very long for that to start kind of making its way to the forefront, but by the mid and well into the dry down, it becomes like a very, very prominent note. So if you don't like spicy fragrances, you probably won't like this, to be honest with you. But if that kind of those green spicy notes don't bother you, you might be looking at kind of your next wish list item for a fresh fragrance, honestly. All right, so that black pepper, or that pepper that's in there, kind of presents itself, in my opinion, slightly like Callan. So if you've ever smelled Callan before, the black pepper is like maybe the most prominent note in that fragrance. And I know that Callan's kind of a polarizing fragrance, to put it politely, I guess. People really like that. It's probably one of the more niche-y smelling fragrances from Parfums de Marly, but a lot of people don't. I've heard people say it smells like dirt or whatever. Anyways, I don't need to turn this into a Callan review. The only reason I bring it up is it really does remind me specifically of that pepper note. Not that I'm not saying that this smells like Callan. Please don't misunderstand or mishear what I'm saying. I mean specifically that black pepper note. It reminds me of that in this fragrance. And as we get further into that dry down, the wood notes start to show themselves here. So now we have a fresh, spicy, clean wood smell. This makes it a very masculine and, honest to goodness, a pretty mature smelling fragrance. I would say it's probably the most mature smelling out of all of the Parfums de Marly fresh fragrances. So all your warm weather stuff, this has more of a kind of sophisticated, elevated, grown-up smell to it than the others do. That means that this is probably better suited for more formal events than most of their other ones. So not that those other ones couldn't be worn in kind of a more formal situation. I just think this one would be a better suited for a warm weather function that required a little more dressing up. And I'm also not saying that a younger man couldn't wear this too. And you could wear this to really informal things as well, as you can for most fresh fragrances. Like Freshies are pretty versatile. That is the case for this one as well. I just think that relative to the other ones, this one's probably better suited for a more mature person, or for a more, you could definitely get away with wearing this at a formal event and nobody would kind of look at you like it wouldn't be mismatchy. It would fit the occasion. All right, so that's the note breakdown. How do I feel about this fragrance overall? Is this the best fresh fragrance Parfums de Marly's ever made? I don't think so, right? I probably don't think so. So if you guys know anything about me, I'm pretty partial to Greenly. I think that smells really good. It, to me, is their best fresh fragrance, and it's probably the most unique out of all of them. Nothing else really on the market smells like Greenly, right? And that's kind of why I like it. To me, it is the most niche smelling out of all those. But what I do appreciate about Castley is that it is not super safe. And what do I mean by that is that this is, I mean, the fragrance itself is relatively safe. This is a very, probably mass appealing fragrance for sure. But what I mean by that is it's not like every other fragrance that seems to be coming out. It's not super sweet and in that kind of fashion, right? Like everything right now seems to be sweet, 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 right? This has a much more mature kind of mineralic, fresh take on a fresh fragrance, and I can really appreciate that. It's probably my second favorite of the Freshies though, from PDM. The only one I still like more than this is probably Greenly. I would take this probably over SMELLY because it's more mature. Percival and Pegasus as well. I just like the way this smells a little more. And again, it is more of a niche-y take rather than a very designer-esque. And that's why I can appreciate this. I would say I would take this over every other Freshie from PDM except Greenly. And overall, performance, right? Totally fine. Projects just like all the other PDMs you have. Longevity is there. I mean, I smelled this well into the next day. I put it on in like the late afternoon when I wore it and smelled it pretty much into the morning when I woke up, right? It's definitely got the longevity and the projection. Could smell it off of this strip as I'm waving it around, and I only sprayed 2 times, right? So it's definitely all there. And so final thoughts on this. I think it's a very good fragrance. I think it smells very nice. It is a unique kind of a fragrance for Freshies. So you're getting something that's not just another run-of-the-mill designer-esque. It definitely feels a little more challenging, and I appreciate that. That's really nice, right? You're not going to smell like every other person if you're wearing Castley. So I think it's very good. Projection and longevity are all there. Can't be really upset with this. I think that they did a really good job with this one. So if you're somebody who loves this house, I got a really good feeling you're going to enjoy this. And if you're somebody who is just looking for a new thing that's come out, this is definitely worth looking at for your next summer, or summer and warm weather fragrance, because it is pretty unique. So get your hands on a sample, get a decant somewhere, give it a try. It's not going to be cheap right now. They just came out. There's really not on discounters or anything like that. So if you smell it and you love it, you're going to end up coughing up a pretty good chunk of money. But if you're willing to be patient, it'll definitely come down. I do think this one is worth putting in a rotation. It's really solid, guys. All right, so that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. Really appreciate y'all coming by, checking this video out. I hope you found this entertaining, a little bit informational. And if you didn't, I'm sorry about that. I'm just really glad that y'all stuck around this long. Please, if you thought this was any good, like, comment, subscribe, the whole nine, baby. You don't want to miss any of these new upcoming videos that are coming. I got more house discovery videos coming up. I got more full bottle reviews. If you have any other ideas of what you might want to see, please let me know down in the comments, and I will do my best to recreate that video for you, okay? Thanks again for coming. Hope to see you next time. In the meantime, you already know what I'm about to tell you. Stay smelly, y'all.